Well, I think when you go back to sort of that joyless pursuit that sort of followed Barry Bonds to breaking Hank Aaron's record, I think baseball was looking forward to somebody else coming along and really being a feel-good character, being somebody that was embraceable and somebody that was certainly marketable. Certainly A-Rod fit all those categories, and he was dynamic, certainly personable, so I think that there was a lot invested in Alex being the next one, being the one to eventually supplant Barry Bonds with the sexiest record in baseball. So I think it's a big hit to baseball. Certainly you have to remember he's a human being, so I'm sure it's a huge hit personally to Alex Rodriguez. Well, I think it's going to be up to him now to decide sort of where he goes from here. Will he address it head on and talk about '03 and what was going on at that point? Will he sort of have that purging moment where he just says, this is the way it happened? Or will he try to just sort of, navigate around the questions and try to exist? I think that what fans seem to appreciate more is honesty, and I think that that's really going to be up to him to see how his legacy is remembered. Well, I think it's a big setback actually for the union right now. The union really had it in their wherewithal to have had these test results destroyed. Does he have an explanation for it? Is something, could he have taken a tainted supplement? Those are some of the reasons that players often give for having a positive test. So it's really up to him, I think, to sort of disclose how this could be. And like I said, when I confronted him in Miami, I handed him the evidence. Basically, I told him what we had, and he at that time could have said something like, it's a mistake, that was a bad test, something went awry, whatever he wanted to say. He had the opportunity, so now going forward, I think he has the opportunity again to explain exactly what happened. I went into the weight room and I approached him and I talked to him for a couple of minutes. In that conversation, I told him exactly what evidence we had and try to get a response from him on that, and I asked him for a response. He directed me to the union. He said, you'll have to talk to the union about that. I tried to ask him again, was there some mistake? Could this positive test have been born out of some sort of a mess up or a screw up, I guess, for lack of a better term? And he said, I have nothing to say. I'm not saying anything, basically is what he said. Well, I think it's a big deal for Major League Baseball because here was the player that they really had counted on to sort of be their feel-good guy. He was really going to be the guy who was going to carry the mantle for sort of the new generation, post-Barry Bonds generation. And I think there was a lot invested in him emotionally, certainly a lot invested in him financially. He's the richest player in baseball. So I think that this comes as a huge blow to them because until now, he'd always said he was the clean one, and I think most people believe that. But I also think that we've been conditioned now to sort of expect certain things like this, maybe not of Alex Rodriguez, but of maybe of other players too. But really it's up to him to decide sort of how to handle this and how to really limit the damage to himself personally. Well, I think what it does mean is that nobody is immune now. I think there was a certain belief that Alex was one of the clean ones. Even his critics in the past have said, well, at least Alex is steroid free. I think that's always sort of been the label on Alex, is that he was steroid free. He was one of the clean ones. He was the one that kids could look up to and believe in, and I think that a lot of people in baseball certainly looked up to him and believed in him, believed that he was going to carry the mantle forward. So I think, in that way it's a huge blow, but I also think to Alex Rodriguez personally it's a huge blow because he is somebody who really wants to please the fans. He's somebody who really wants to live up to the expectations of his contract, and he wants to be the one who breaks the record. So I think personally for him it's a huge blow because he wanted to be that authentic hero for people, and I think now this sort of runs, counter to that image.